that shit ain't gon' stop till we on top and we ballin', my nigga. We be fly as fuck, you know them bitches be stalking my niggas. That shit'll never change and it's the same with all my niggas. City to city, I should be at home, that's what my ribs say. But bitch, I'm grown, I'm in these streets and closed caption. Niggas know we bout that action. If a nigga play with me, then my I can gon' let him have it. Hey, think you the shit, this truth, this shit. Nigga play, I let that Ruger hit. Get on them tracks, they be like, who is this? I'm rude with it, ain't got no manners. All them pussy niggas talking shit, yeah, I know they can't stand us, but we UPK Louisiana, bitch, that's what I'm rippin'. And my niggas solid number, real ones in my section. If you wanna get down, put your boots on, start steppin'. Brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood I lay my life down right now for all my sisters and brothers, because I love them. I see them dapping and hug them. It's amazing to see how well we adapt from the struggle. Born again from a life of sin, trapped in the gutter. My mind frame was to kill my own kind. Feeling inferior, waking up ready to die. Run with them killers, so it's just a matter of time. For why take your life or let you take mine? That's when I realized the slaves killing slaves while the white man live to get old. We in them graves, and shit got me feeling played. I opened the Bible, went through them records, found out we was royalty, a nation to be respected. But in this world we rejected, we hated for our complex. Still fighting to get accepted. We hear the truth and reject it, but love is getting corrected. And all my niggas correct me. The commandments, the foundation we erected. Brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. Hey, hey. Hey, hey.
Shalom, 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 Israel. You live with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Is it just me or is the screen looking blurry? Let me know if the visuals coming through clear for y'all or if it's blurry. I feel like it's blurry on my end. Hold up, y'all. Hey, shalom, Lord Christ. What's going on now? Hey, shalom, Lord Christ. Yeah, I'm up here now. Come. All right, shalom, Lord Christ. I feel like the camera looking blurry. Let me know if it look clear, y'all. If the camera look blurry. Salaki. Matter of fact, hold up. I feel like the damn monorail's in the forefront. Stay with me, y'all. Hold up. All right, all right, all right. No, that didn't help still. All right, there we go. Now they cleared up. All right, shalom, Israel, Lord Christ. You live with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Priest and Captain Soccer Warhol, 9 to class. Live from Memphis, Tennessee. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we have classes here in Memphis from 7 to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Since 1969, Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge has been teaching so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians the truth according to the Bible. What is the truth? The truth is that so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians descend from the greatest people that have ever walked the face of the earth. The Bible identifies us as the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And in the year 2025, there's nothing more important than for God's chosen people to learn the truth of who we are, where we come from, and what our purpose is on the earth. So what we like to do with these classes is give blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians a chance to go into this book called the Bible to learn the truth of who we are, so they can gain the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that the Most High has placed inside of this book so that we can come back to being the people He called us to be and to reclaim our righteous place on the earth as kings, priests, princesses, and daughters of Zion. With that being said, I'd like to start the class off with questions. If any brothers and sisters have any questions, all I can do is type them in. If any brothers and sisters in the classroom have any questions, all you gotta do is raise your hand. All right. If we don't have any questions, we're gonna go ahead and go into tonight's topic. Topic of tonight's class is voice like a trumpet. All right. Voice like a trumpet. We are living in a very dangerous time for God's chosen people. We are living in a very dangerous time for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And the Bible warns us about the time that we are living in. The Bible prophesies the imminent threat and danger that faces God's people in the last days. You understand? And living in this day and time, biblical prophecies are being fulfilled, at a very rapid pace to let those of us who are in tune with the Most High know that the time is short. And our oppressor, knowing that his time is short, seeing the writing on the wall of the fall of this empire and the fall of this Western um, stranglehold on power and influence over other people on the earth, they're pulling out all the stops. Everything that's taking place with the government right now, the federalizing of the police department, the purposeful crashing of the economy through the tariffs, um, the transference of funding and resources to ICE to make it a national militarized force for the abduction and removal of black and brown people. It's all being carefully orchestrated so that America could return to the imperial colonizing force that made it great in the earth. And um, the Bible says that in this time, that facing these circumstances, the Lord would raise up men whose responsibility it is to watch over the people, to look out for danger, and to warn the people when the danger was present and on the horizon. We are not seeing that in the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian community as it pertains to our so-called leaders, as it pertains to the politicians, the religious leaders. Nobody is assuming the role and the responsibility of the men of God to do what the Lord said needed to be done in the days when our enemies would be surrounding us and intending to do us great harm. So that's what we're going to go into tonight. We're going to go into what it is the Bible says concerning uh, the voice being raised like a trumpet. All right, and before I get into that, Sister Kapadas, I had a question. She wants to know, Salakia sir, could you explain who the Moors are? There was a video on TikTok saying black people are really Moors. Okay, so to answer the sister's question, the Moor is a term that was used during the period that they call the Dark Ages to describe black people of the various ethnic and religious backgrounds that they came from, right? During the period known as the Dark Ages in history, that was a period of time when um, the Muslim religion was spread across North Africa, spread into Europe. You had a lot of, a lot of powers, a lot of the powers at the time, um, as far as religious and political at the time, they were dark skinned people. You understand? You had Muslims, you had Hebrews, you had North Africans, you had Berbers, you had, all these different ethnic groups of dark people. In general, they were just referred to as Moors in Europe. You understand? So the Moors is not a specific group. The Moors is not a specific race of people. The Moors is not a specific religion of people. When in terms of that time period, right? So in the time of the Dark Ages, the Moor was just used to describe black people. So anybody today that's saying black people are Moors, they think they're saying something heavy. They think they're saying something like, "Oh yeah, we belong to this special group of people." All they're saying is that black people are black. Moors is another word that means black. And the way it was used during the time when the Moors were a recognized group of people, they were just black people. Just black, but saying black doesn't mean you an Israelite, you a Hebrew, or you're an Arab, or you're an East Indian. All of those people were considered Moors during that time. You understand? Arabs, East Indians, North Africans, Europeans, if you had dark skin, you were considered a Moor. So in 2025, it doesn't make any sense for us to identify ourselves as Moors because we're already black. Now, there's a religious group of people today called Moors. The religious group of people today who call themselves Moors, they are the product of an offshoot of Islam, which was known as the Moor Science Temple. The Moor Science Temple was started by a man named Noble Drew Ali. Noble Drew Ali was a former Muslim. You understand? He was a Muslim. He had a following. I want to say it was in Chicago in the 20s and the 30s. He had a Moor Science Temple #1 in Chicago where he was teaching people. He wrote a book called The Circle 7 Quran. It has all these different lessons. He had different lessons that he taught, and so he had a great following. His organization failed. He got locked up, accused of, he had multiple wives, had multiple children. He didn't get locked up. He got killed by one of the members because the cat was sleeping with his wife or wanted to take his position or something. Noble Drew Ali got killed in the 30s, and that was the end of that movement at that time. They continued. Some of his followers continued on, and today you can recognize somebody from the Moor Science Temple because they wear those little fez hats. Now y'all might not know the fez hats as a fez hat. Do you know any Eastern Star women?
My grandma's mom.
Your grandma's mom was an Eastern Star woman, so they wear that little hat with that little sword on it and the little crescent moon. All of that is Moor Science Temple symbolism. Like the Moor Science Temple uses the little hat. They wear the little hat. They have the little sword, the little crescent moon. All of that comes from Islam. Now, that Eastern Stars thing is something different. Eastern Stars thing is a woman's version of uh what's them cats with the Masons. The Eastern Stars is the woman version of the Masonic Temple. Masonic Temple is something different. That's what they call a one of the fraternal organizations. Masonic Temple is like pledging Phi Beta Kappa or pledging Alpha Phi Alpha or Alpha Kappa Alpha if you're a woman. It's like Eastern Stars is a blackety black version of that. Where the Eastern Star women don't dedicate themselves to a Greek god, they dedicate themselves to an Egyptian god. But the whole process of the joining the temple and getting sworn in and sworn to secrecy is the same as cats in college pledging Greek fraternities. You understand? But the Moors they wear the little hats, and there's two types of Moors. There's religious Moors who follow the teachings of Noble Drew Ali. They follow the Circle 7 Quran. They believe that Noble Drew Ali was sent from God and he was a man of God and he was the final prophet or something like that. Then there's legal Moors, right? You don't know a legal Moor because their last name most of the time is Bey, Bey. You see a cat last name is Bey. He's a Moor. His folks was Moors. They believed in the Moors. The legal belief of the Moors is that we are the people who descend from Moroccans. There's a country in Africa called Morocco. During the time of slavery, Moroccans from Morocco were coming to America and saying, "We are free. We are not slaves. We didn't come on no slave ship. We came here free." And they made contracts or had the government sign treaties with them that they would be recognized as their independent nation. So the legal Moors believe that if you can identify yourself as a Moor, you don't have to drive with a driver's license. You don't have to be, you don't have to deal with any of the commercial laws that America has in place because you're a Moor, you're a diplomat. You can move and travel freely, and you're not under the auspices of all of this governmental structure that America has in place. Those now, those brothers who are in the legal understanding of the Moors, a lot of their understanding is true. It's real. Go and look at the laws and the books. Go look at the Uniform Commercial Code, all that stuff they citing. The Supreme Court cases that say you could travel, don't need a driver's license. All of that, it can be verified. But try it in court, the white man will throw you in jail, and who's gonna come bail you out? What army's gonna come free you? You default on your mortgage. You can try to fight the bank if you want to. You could try to pull all of the documentation and the paperwork to prove that your mortgage was robo signed and it doesn't belong to you. You're not doing any dealings with third party what do you call them? Third party debt collectors, and you can do the whole 9 yards. They are going to foreclose your house. They're going to lock you up for driving without a license, and nobody is going to come and save you and deliver you. And that is why we should not identify ourselves as Moors. You understand? Come on with it.
So does that, like you said, it could be verified, whatever they're saying, but does that go against what the Lord tell us about? I don't want to say like obeying the laws of the land, but does that go against what the Lord told us?
Okay. Yes. Because the premise of all of that Moorish anything is you identifying as a people that you are not. Which is it's like different. Not just don't think it is identifying as African, but it's another rabbit hole to take you away from serving the Lord. There's a lot of things that you can get caught up in. It might not cause you to sin, right? Like learning the legal stuff of the Moors might not cause you to sin, but if you serve the Lord, you don't need it. You understand what I'm saying? It's like you could study that stuff and learn it and understand it, but what good is it if the Lord ain't with you? I was doing it before I came in the truth. I drove 3 years with no license, got pulled over, had a whole stack of paperwork. I asked for the watch commando, the sergeant on duty. I don't deal with this peon officer. If he want to talk to me, I hand him a stack of papers. You sign that and say that you're willing to vouch for whatever laws you uphold, and we go to court and you personally liable, then we can deal with something. Cops would never want to deal with it. They'd wait till their sergeant came or they watch command, and I would talk to them, have a conversation, and they would be like, okay, well, you know your stuff, sir. You know what I'm saying? And talk to me nice. I might get out the car and let them search. I ain't had no drugs or nothing none of the time. I might agree to them searching the vehicle to make sure I ain't got no guns or weapons. But they ask for identification. They ask for a driver's license. I don't have one because I don't need one. I'm not doing any commercial business. I'm traveling on the road. I'm not driving anyway. You go look up the Black's Law Dictionary. Look up the legal definitions of certain words. Words do not mean what you think they mean. You understand? So all of that, I studied the Uniform Commercial Code. I studied how to break free of your Social Security contract with the government, and you could turn your birth certificate in and return your Social Security card, and you're supposed to get some write-off on the private side of the thing. All of this different shit, I studied all of it and went to D.C. driving and got pulled over, and I did the same thing I pulled in Maryland for 3 years, and then nigga said, I'm going to bust your window out and pull you out the car if you don't get out. And I'm like, I got out of character. I'm like, why would you do that to me, brother? He was like, listen, man, this is District of Columbia. We ain't under that jurisdiction. This federal jurisdiction, player. These rules do not apply down here. I get out the car, let them lock me up. They send me to jail. I come the next day before the judge. The judge say, how do you plead? At that time, I wasn't pleading guilty or not guilty. I wasn't pleading no contest. I wasn't entering a plea. Because I'm not under your jurisdiction. I'm a common law man of the state of Maryland. I'm a natural person, blah, blah, blah. And the Supreme Court ruling, U.S. Code, bloobity blam. I did all this spiel that I did 3 times in court in Maryland and one. I did it in D.C. I ran through my whole thing. And the prosecutor looked at the judge and said, I don't think he learned his lesson, y'all. And I said, we step him back for another day. And the judge stepped me back, sent me back to jail. I go back to jail the second day. And I come back there. They like, what happened, big dog? I thought you all your law shit. I'm like, man, they playing with me. Man, I stayed there one more day, man. Ate them funky bologna sandwiches with that mustard and that bread and that stale cheese. They processed me, put the orange jumpsuit on the whole 9. Next day, they brought me before the judge. I said, not guilty. And I went home. I wasn't going to do another day of that at all. So, and I learned what I realized at that time is that you could know everything there is to know. If you don't have a army, a military, or a force that's willing to stand behind what you're representing, then our oppressor does not care. He does not respect any paperwork. He don't respect any laws on the books. Right now, Donald Trump is doing a lot of stuff that goes against the laws on the books. They don't have no respect to those laws. And we are in a time now where paperwork is not going to deliver you. What is going to deliver you is if the Lord is on your side or not. Right now, you got Hispanics, they legal citizens, born here, been here their whole life. They shipping them folks to Alligator Alcatraz. And I watch the news, and it's so evil how, like, we're living in the days of concentration camps, like what they did to the so-called Jews during World War II. We hear about places like Auschwitz and all of these concentration camps that they were sending these Jews to during World War II. That is what Alligator Alcatraz is. And you get government people going down there, seeing the horrible treatment of these people, and they coming and talking about it on the news, but nobody's doing nothing. Let it have been white people that they sent to Alligator Alcatraz. Let it have been Jewish people or Chinese or Indian people. There would be riots and war going on right now. But because it's the children of the Lord, nobody cares. Nobody bats an eye. And the Lord is allowing us to see these things to let us know now is the time to get right. Now is the time to turn to him and call on him because he's the only one that can help us in this situation. Everybody understands? Let's go ahead and get some scriptures. Let me get let's get Isaiah chapter 56. Anybody tuning in on TikTok, man, y'all like and share. You with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. The topic of tonight's class is voice like a trumpet. If y'all have any questions, y'all can type y'all questions in and we'll deal with them, all right? What we do is we go in the Bible and we gain the knowledge and understanding that the Most High has put inside of this book so that we can come back to being the people he called us to be and live life the way that he intended, all right? So in the Bible, the Most High told the men of God, told the prophets that in the time of danger, it was their responsibility to warn the people. You understand? And so Isaiah. So like it's Isaiah 58. Let's get Isaiah 58 and 1. The book of Isaiah, chapter 58, verse 1. All right, it's Isaiah chapter 58, verse 1. And it says, cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgression and the house of Jacob their sins. Why did the Most High say to lift up your voice like a trumpet? What is a trumpet synonymous with in the Bible? What were trumpets used for in the Bible? Trumpet is synonymous with an alarm. You understand? The blowing of a trumpet, the trumpet would blow for one or two reasons. Trumpet was blown to warn the people of danger, or a trumpet was blown to send out the troops on attack. Everybody understand? So anytime a trumpet was blown, it meant danger. You understand? Either to prepare to defend against danger or to prepare to go on attack against danger. The Most High told the men of God to lift up their voices like a trumpet. You understand? The voice of the men of God is to speak the word of the Lord to warn the people when danger is coming. That's why in Isaiah 58 and 1 it says, lift up thy voice like a trumpet and show my people their transgressions and the house of Jacob their sins. You understand? The Lord chose men of God to warn the people to change their ways, man, to come back to serving the Lord, to come back to obeying Him. And here we are in the year 2025. We're the men of God warning the people. You understand? There's all these different religions in the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian community. There's Islam and Christianity and New Age religion and atheism and all of these different belief systems. Where the people saying, look at what's transpiring in America. Black people, now is the time to get right with the Lord. Where is anybody pointing at the danger and saying they are about to revert back to pre-colonial days and get back grimy against our people the way that they were when America was great? You want to know what made America great compared to all the other countries on this earth? What made America great was having us in slavery. You understand? What made America great was the cheap and free labor that was afforded them by Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And right now, America is trying to compete with China. They're trying to compete with the United Arab Emirates. They're trying to compete with Russia and India, and they cannot. Why? Because the cost of labor is too much. The wages are too high. You have billionaires on this earth. $1 billion in any denomination of money is an unimaginable amount of money. It's impossible to spend $1 billion. You got billionaires in this country that are looking at China, looking at India, looking at Russia, looking at the Arab countries and saying, man, we paying these people too much. We can't keep up. We can't compete. There's enough money in America for everybody to be fed, for everybody to be housed, for electricity to be free, for everybody to have a car. But because of greedy capitalists, because of evil, disgusting, money-hungry billionaires, Black and Hispanic people got to go back in slavery, man. We got to go back in. They want to put us back in slavery so that America could be great again. The only way that they're going to be able to compete economically is if they have a cheap labor force. So Donald Trump is raising tariffs, knowing, you go look at the history of tariffs in America. Anybody, just go Google the history of tariffs in America. Anytime tariffs have been used in America, they crash the economy. They wrecked the businesses in the country, wrecked the infrastructure, made the country more dependent on foreign imports. Why would Donald Trump right now decide to put tariffs on other nations? Because he thinks that he's going to make these other nations pay by making sure that we are all too poor to buy their goods. That's the only thing that results in tariffs. The other countries get hurt because they can't sell their goods, right? But they don't need to sell their goods as bad as we need to buy stuff. If we can't buy their goods, that means we got to buy American goods. And American goods prices are sky high. Why American goods cost so much? Because the labor to make it costs so much. So right now with these tariffs, Donald Trump is making these other countries not be able to sell while we're getting poor. Eventually he's going to say, well, you know what? Only way we could afford to make these things in America is if people get paid less. The people at the bottom got to get paid less so that the CEOs and the people at the top can get more bonuses. God forbid they get less bonuses and everybody able to eat and the prices be at a decent rate. Right now, the vehicle market, right? There's a halt in the vehicle market because nobody's buying vehicles in America. So you go to these car dealerships, go to a new car dealership and look on the lot. Ford has 2023 cars that they did not sell. That's sitting on the lot, brand new. Could not sell it in 2023. It's middle of 2025. The car's still sitting there. You think the price came down? You think they offering any discount? Not only that, the cost of the car is outrageous. You go buy a Ford F-150, they want $80,000. $80,000 for a pickup truck. You go and get a Ford, this SUV, this Mustang SUV they got. They want $75,000 for a Ford. Ford Motor Vehicles has never been anything. Them cars should be $20,000, $25,000. But since COVID hit, and they know everybody got paid and the wages increased, they might as well get them a bump too. Right now, these car companies are reporting record losses in the billions of dollars. Why? Because these tariffs is making the price of everything go up. You think that they would say, well, maybe we should just make the cars cheaper so more people could afford them. No. They would rather let cars sit for 2 years and nobody buy it than to let somebody get it for a cheaper price. You would think they would just cut their losses and say, well, we might as well get something out of it. Because it's about to be 2026. Who's going to come buy a brand new 23 for 26 prices? It don't make no sense. But when you have greed and a system like capitalism that requires people starving and there being a scarcity of resources, then the people suffer. You understand? The Lord is trying to get us to see. He's given us time to recognize what is taking place. But no leadership in the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian community is sounding the alarm like the Israelite School of UPK. I'm on the internet all day. I'm on YouTube. I'm on TikTok. I'm not slaving right now. All I have is time to look and see what's going on and what people are talking about. Nobody is warning the people. They're looking at what's happening with the government and they're saying it's a rise of fascism and it's the return of the Nazis. What if this the return of the Nazis? Who's the Jews? If the Nazis are back, who the people they about to enslave and throw in concentration camps? That's the part nobody wants to say out loud. Trump is federalizing the police in D.C. Nobody wants to say out loud, black people, get out. Black people, be careful. Black people, they're coming to kill you, unalive you. Nobody's saying that. Why can't anybody say it? I watch the TV, I watch the news. They're talking around the most important thing, which is danger, black people. Danger, Hispanic people. They talk about Hispanic people like there's some foreign entity that nobody is familiar with. We know them. They're the landscapers and the damn people that make your food at Chipotle. They're the cats that do all of the wall, the bricklaying and the drywall on the construction sites. Why isn't anybody saying to the Hispanic population in America, ICE is being made a military force because they are coming for you? We just gonna keep talking around the most important thing, but guess what? None of you are men of God. And none of you know the Bible, because if you knew the Bible, you would do what God said the men of God are supposed to do. You understand? And if he said, what are you doing for your people? We're doing what God said we're supposed to do by warning them, showing them what the Lord said in the Bible that they are supposed to do so that we can have his protection. Where is your pastor talking about the evil that America is doing to Hispanic people? I have yet to see one preacher, white preacher, black preacher, Latino preacher. No preacher is saying what America is doing is evil. No preacher is saying what Donald Trump is doing is what Pharaoh did in Egypt. Why? You have the Bible like we have the Bible. You read about the oppression of the Egyptians and what they did to the children of Israel. Why is if you ain't got to acknowledge that we the children of God, right? You don't have to acknowledge that black and Hispanics are the children of Israel. But can you at least acknowledge that your government is behaving like Pharaoh? God damn. They're doing what the Egyptians did. Don't you know what God did to Pharaoh? Why isn't any Christian pastor saying Donald Trump is behaving like Pharaoh? What part of the Bible is Donald Trump following right now? By rounding all these people up and deporting them and tearing their families apart? How is that at all in accordance with the Spirit of God or Jesus Christ? Yet they won't talk about it. So we have to talk about it. Let's continue on. We in Isaiah chapter 58, verse 2. It says, yet they seek me daily and delight to know my ways, as a nation that did righteousness and forsook not the ordinance of their God. They ask of me the ordinances of justice. They take delight in approaching to God. Right now, in 2025, our people are stronger in their Christianity, even though that religion has done nothing for them. They are stronger in their resolve. I mean, I drive through the city sometimes on Sunday. These churches is packed. These little churches on these corners here in Memphis, Tennessee, them people, them old ladies is getting up with them big hats and they going into church on that Sunday. You understand? They are strengthened and they're strong in their conviction of their religion. Yet the man that's in there preaching on Sunday, what is he talking about? If he's not talking about the suffering and the oppression and the evil that's befalling God's people. You understand? That's why the men of God have to warn the people. Why we got to lift up our voices like a trumpet on the internet, you understand, on the street, in these classrooms. We got to warn our people that the enemy is preparing to destroy us, and we must turn to the Lord if we're going to be spared. Everybody understand? Let's drop that. Let's get Ezekiel, the 3rd chapter. Let me show you where the Lord came to Ezekiel, and he told Ezekiel, this is what a man of God must do. This is the purpose of a man of God. This is why I have raised you up. Your pastor in 2025 does not know the Bible, nor is he a man of God. Because if he knew the Bible and if he was a man of God, he would be doing what the Bible said men of God are supposed to do. Only men of God that I know are in the Israelite school of UPK under Commander General Yohana. Because only in the ISUPK under Commander General Yohana have I seen men doing the work that God said a man is supposed to do. You understand? Let's get Ezekiel chapter 3. And let's go down to verse 16. All right? It's Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 16. It says, and it came to pass at the end of 7 days that the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the word at my mouth and give them warning from me. That's the responsibility of a man of God, to hear the word of the Lord and give the people warning. You go and you read this Bible. You read about Moses and Joshua and Solomon and David and Samuel, and you read about Ezekiel and Isaiah and Daniel. You read about Paul. All the men that you read about in this Bible, the one thing they all had in common is that they warned the people. You understand? These prophets weren't men of love. They weren't men of everybody gathering together and holding hands. These prophets were men who were ostracized during their lifetimes, who were hated and despised by the people. Why? Because they did their job. What was their job? To tell the people the uncomfortable truth. To tell the people the thing they didn't want to hear, which was that you're messing up. You're disobeying God. You're angering the Lord. He's going to punish us. He's going to hurt us. Danger is coming because of our disobedience. That's why these prophets were hated. You read in the New Testament where Christ talked about the Pharisees and Sadducees being those that killed the prophets. I never understood, why did they kill the prophets? When Christ was saying, you are the children of the people that killed the prophets, why does church never teach us why the prophets got killed? Why doesn't church ever talk about that? Why did they kill the prophets? You want to know why they killed the prophets? Because the prophets did the unpopular thing, which was told the people the truth about God. And the truth about God is not that he's all love and hugs and kisses and rainbows and ice cream with cherries and sprinkles on top. The reality of God is that he requires us to serve him, requires us to obey him. And if we don't serve him, if we don't obey him, then there are consequences and repercussions, just like everything in life. People want to treat God like he's some good luck charm, some fairy tale, some fairy godmother. That's not the Most High. It's not the creator of the heavens and the universe. He is a fierce power that demands respect. And he's going to get it one way or another. Either you'll give him his respect by obeying him, or you'll give him his respect by pleading for him to help you in the midst of your calamity that you brought on yourself. Everybody understand? So the Lord told Ezekiel, I've made you a watchman to the house of Israel to give them warning from me, right? Let's keep reading Ezekiel 3 and 18. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity. But his blood will I require at thine hand. The Most High said, I've risen you up to be a watchman. And if you see somebody doing evil, doing wicked, and you don't warn them to change from their wicked way, when they die, their blood will be on your hands. It'll be your fault. And I think of all of the people that I've known who have lost their lives in the midst of their sins, and I think about the Christian church and how nobody warned them. You understand? I think about all the pastors that have taught us about prosperity and about living good and about chasing the American dream, but not about teaching us to obey God. Come on with it, Ox.
Is that what he said? don't judge. That's you know what I mean. As far as the Christians, like you can't judge us, tell us we doing wrong.
Is what the reason that they tell us?
Like in the Christian church, because they don't want to hear. You know
yes, they don't want to hear the truth. They don't want nobody warning them. The church is designed so nobody warns anybody about sin. The church is antichrist. The church is the greatest. You want to know the greatest force for wickedness in the earth? It's the Christian church. It reinforces the idea that you ain't got to obey God. Jesus died. What you got to obey God for? Jesus died. None of us are perfect. All of us have fallen short of the glory. All of these things are embedded in the brains of Christians to teach them not to feel bad about sinning. They're doing the opposite. The Lord said, warn the wicked to change or he's going to die in his sin. They're not only are they not warning the wicked, they are encouraging them to disobey God. Come on with it.
If you don't warn them, then it'll be on your hands.
Which means all the blood of all the brothers and sisters who have died living in wickedness is on the hands of your Christian pastors. The blood is on the hands of your imams. Their blood is on the hands of all of these politicians. Right now, there is a threat, a clear and present danger against Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people in America right now. And guess what? The church is not warning them. The politicians are not warning them. All these influencers and personalities on the internet, they are not warning them. Which means what? As our people die, because they're going to die. As our people are hurt, because they're going to be hurt. The people who are going to be responsible for it, that God is going to hold responsible, is everybody that was silent. That's why we teach these classes. I'm going to make sure that I'm covered. My slate is going to be clean because I am doing the job of a man of God and warning our people. Now is the time to get right with the Lord. Now is not the time to still be sinning and struggling with things that you need to overcome. Now is the time to lock in and become who God called you to be. Because being who God called you to be is the only thing that can spare you in this day and time. You understand? You go back and you read in the book of Exodus when the children of Israel came out of Egypt. What is it that they did to be covered by the angel of death on the night of the Passover? They had to obey God. And that obeying God wasn't just sitting at home twiddling their thumbs. They had to go and get a lamb that was expensive at the time. They had to slaughter it and put the blood around the door, and they had to cook it and eat it. There were a lot of people who did not obey the Lord in that night. And they lost their lives because they did not obey. The people that did obey, they were spared. Why? Because they obeyed. Now, how do you know that? Now, there's a way that you can know that not all those people was right with the Lord. Not all those people's spirit was in the right place. They obeyed, which is what they were supposed to do. But how do we know that a lot of the people that got delivered out of Egypt, spirit wasn't with the Most High? How do we know that a lot of those people who were spared on the night of the Passover were not solidified in their resolve to serve the Lord no matter what?
Because they wanted to go back when they got out. So they made a golden calf like they had.
These are the same people that got delivered on the night of the Passover were the same people that made a golden calf to go back into Egypt. You understand? Now, they obeyed the night of the Passover. That's how they got spared. But that obedience didn't last long. You understand? And this is the way we know is that everybody died in the wilderness. Nobody that walked out of Egypt made it into the promised land except for Joshua and Caleb. And both of them were young boys when we came out of Egypt. Everybody else that walked out of Egypt the night of the Passover, all of them died in the wilderness because they did not remain righteous enough to see the land the Lord promised us. You understand? We are living in a time now. There's some of you that's at home. You're worried about your drug addiction. You're worried about your alcoholism. You're not sure that you're ready to be everything that God calls you to be. So what? Now is the time to obey the Lord. You need to come in here and learn what you need to do. There's some things that you're failing and you're struggling with. No problem. We'll work with you through it. But you can't run from hearing the truth. A lot of people don't even want to be told what's right and wrong. A lot of people don't even want to be told that you got to obey the Lord. because they feel like it's too much for them. It's too much. It's too heavy. They want to live a peaceful life, an easy life. There are people right now that's seeing everything that's going on. They're not watching the news on purpose.
Right.
They're blocking all the news channels on their TikTok feed. People talking about conspiracy theories away from any of the information because it'll make it hard for them to get through their day. You better be paying attention to what's going on. You better be watching and praying. Why would you want to bury your head in the sand and not know the danger that's coming? There's only one reason. Because you don't want to know why these things are happening to you. You understand? We live in a time with all of this information, all of this technology, all the information is readily available. Why is it that so many people don't want to understand what's going on? So many people want to just ignore what's happening. I don't work right now, so I'm not at the job. But I imagine at the job, nobody's talking about none of the stuff that's going on right now. Nobody is saying, did you see Trump made the police soldiers in D.C.?
That's crazy.
And he said he's going to do it in other cities. I got family back in D.C. right now. The FBI, DEA, the ATF, they just walking around the city. They posting up in neighborhoods. Just FBI agents with their guns and they FBI badge. These cats supposed to be in the office behind a desk doing paperwork. They are walking the streets. And the people in these communities, these are poor people. They're already on edge living in poverty on the street in their neighborhood. What happens when a cat go to the store and the police don't like how he look and they try to question him? He already full of stress, anxiety, scared to death. They are trying to provoke us. They're trying to make us do something so that they can have every excuse to unalive us. And it's starting in Washington, D.C., because D.C. is a small city. It's closed off. It's a federal jurisdiction. It's going to happen in New York. It's going to happen. It already happened in Los Angeles. And when they get to doing what they really want to do, it'll be too late for anybody to say anything. The news won't even out on TikTok. It won't be talked about on the internet. YouTube is going to block every page that's trying to report what's happening to these people in America. Nobody's going to talk about it. It's not going to be televised. If you're waiting for the big thing to happen to change your life and get right with God, you'll be too late. Now is the big thing that's happening. Now is the time to change your life. Now is the time to turn to the Lord. Now is the time to put your wickedness behind you, because if you don't, there's a chance that you will die in your wickedness. Everybody understands? So, like, Ash, you was gonna say something?
No, I was just saying it's crazy how nobody's saying that. How much is all this shit costing? You know what I mean? Armies and all overtime.
Ash, it costs crazy. It costs crazy money to call in the National Guard.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
He's calling the National Guard for nothing. Now, the idea, right, of all these government cuts and these tariffs is that there's not enough money in the government.
Right.
How is there not enough money when you got the money?
Right.
It is a lie. The idea that America is broke, America ain't got no money, it is absolutely a lie. And it's such a disgusting lie on a scale that I don't even think people imagine how much of an evil lie it is that the government is broke. Right now, America is one of the only civilized nations on the earth that doesn't give the people health care.
Right.
You go anywhere else on the planet, Europe, Canada, damn near Mexico, medical care is free. That's a human right. If we got doctors and machines and medicine here, live good, be healthy. America is the only place where you don't have free health care. You know how many billions of dollars America saves every year by making people have to pay for their health care?
Sure.
That money alone is enough to feed everybody and house everybody and put a roof, put food on everybody's table. To act like America's broke when they give $80 billion a year to Israel in defense funding, it's insane. It's crazy. They speak in code when really what they're saying is we don't have no money for these blacks, these Hispanics, and these Native Indians. You understand? The children of the Lord, we have no money to prop you up, to feed you and to house you. We want you really to be unalive. So we're going to do everything that we can to make sure that we bring that to fruition.
That's crazy.
Seeing that's happening, where are the men of God to warn the people? Where are the leaders to warn the people? Where are the historians to say, everything that the government is doing right now is what Hitler did in Nazi Germany? Somebody should be looking for the genocide. They opened up Alligator Alcatraz. How is nobody saying that's a concentration camp? It's ridiculous. Everybody understands. I'm gonna keep reading Ezekiel chapter 3. Ezekiel 3:19 says, "Yet if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul." The Lord said, if the wicked don't want to hear you, they're gonna still die in their wickedness, but it's not gonna be your fault. You understand? Shame on the black Hispanic, shame on the Christian church for not warning God's people. You understand? Shame on us. Bear with me, hold up. You understand? Shame on us for not seeing and recognizing the danger that is in front of us and doing something to avoid it. And we are walking down a path of destruction, and nobody who's in a position of leadership is speaking out except for the men of the ISUPK. You understand? And all of this talk about black unity and black coming together and our blackness and black struggle. Where's all of that talk now? Where's the Black Lives Matter speaking out about what's happening to the Hispanics? Do they not consider those lives to be black? You understand? It is such, we're living in such a diabolically hypocritical time that it's mind-boggling. You understand? Let's drop that. Let me see something. Let me get Isaiah chapter 30, verse 10. We get Isaiah 30 and 10. All right. Come on with it.
Would that be? I'm trying to find the scripture, but when it be like the shepherds that failed us.
Come on, I get that. I think that's in Jeremiah 23. All right. You understand? Okay, there's twofold to understand what's taking place at this time. We are living in a very sinful generation. We're not living in a time where there's a lot of people that's eager to serve the Lord. We're living in a very evil time. And in a evil time is when the men of God are needed the most. Because in a time where evil becomes common, where evil becomes the status quo, where evil is just the thing everybody accepts, there's not a force within us that's going to fight for the right thing. You understand? It takes an influence. It takes a righteous influence and a righteous conscience in order to know that the things you're doing is wrong. The way you're living is wrong. You're not going to get that watching TV. You're not going to get watching the TV and listen to the radio. You're not going to get the message that I'm living wrong. Everything in this society reaffirms whatever you decide to do, it's okay. Everybody else doing what they want to do, right? The only way that you're going to have an inkling of, damn, maybe what I'm doing is not right, is if there's someone teaching the truth about God. Is if there's someone warning you that this is the path we're supposed to walk in. This is how we're supposed to live. That's the only way that you're going to have an alternative. Right now, what's made available to most people is just wickedness, all different various forms. But when people who are used to that life come in contact with the truth, they have one or two responses. Either they hear it and they're eager and they want to know more, or they hear it and they reject it outright. And they reject it because they don't want to change. They love living their sinful, evil life. They love living in society and being free to do whatever they want to do. They don't want to have a conscience. They don't want to have to change. They don't want anybody telling them that what they're doing is wrong and God really wants you to do this. A lot of people are free doing whatever they want to do because that's what makes them feel free. That's what makes them feel like a human being. To live according to God's laws would be like being a robot. It would be like being controlled. It would be like being oppressed. But the reality is, living and serving the Lord is the only way that you can be free. You understand? So when we read what we're about to read in the book of Isaiah, it's important to understand that we are living in the same time like Isaiah lived in, where the people do not want to hear the truth about God. The people want to live wickedly. They want to do evil. They don't believe that living and doing evil is to blame is what is to blame for all of their failures in life.
Right.
People want to blame their failures in life on how they was raised. They want to blame their parents. They want to blame their neighborhood. They want to blame that teacher that told them they never wasn't going to amount to nothing. They don't want to take accountability and say, I'm messed up. I'm living wrong. I'm doing things that I'm not supposed to do, and that's why my life is the way that it is. So when you come and present the truth, they are going to fight that because God forbid they have to face themselves and take accountability. Everybody understands? This is Isaiah chapter 30, starting at verse 8. Here is why when we teach the word of God, when we teach the truth, people reject it. People don't want to hear it. People fight against us. We right now, there's a lot of people that don't want to be warned. They don't want to hear the trumpet blowing. They don't want to hear the alarm sounding because they want to believe that life is going to go on the way it's always gone on. They want to believe that America is the land of the free and the home of the brave. They want to believe that in America, you have the right to the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness. They don't want to accept the reality that America is the sinful kingdom that the Bible talks about. And it will be destroyed off the face of the earth. Everybody understand? This is Isaiah chapter 30, starting at verse 8. I'm starting at verse 9. It says that this is a rebellious people, lying children, children that will not hear the law of God. That's the majority of a lot of our people. They are rebellious. They are lying children, and they don't want to hear the word of God, the law of the Lord. Everybody understand? Verse 10, which say to the seers, see not. Who are the seers? The seers are the watchmen. The seers are the people that see what's happening, and they saying to people, don't you know what's about to happen? Don't you see what's taking place? God has already shown us the vision of the future. It's death and destruction and genocide for our people. Look at what the government is doing. They're gearing up to reestablish slavery. They're gearing up to make America great again. They're gearing up to bring in the Fourth Reich, which is what Hitler was the Third Reich. They're trying to bring in the Fourth Reich. And we're the target.
Right.
They saying, shut your mouth. See that? Who told you to see that? Who told you that? Y'all always fear mongering. I make videos. I put them on my Angry Black Man Media channel. I don't know if it's bots or if these are real people. Every time I make a post about what the government is doing, I get Edomites, white people in my comments saying, you're lying. You're a plant from the Democratic side of government. You're a liberal, this and that. I'm not no Democrat. I'm not no liberal. I'm just speaking facts about what I see. They don't want to see. They don't want you to see. They don't want to hear what the men of God have to say. You understand? Isaiah, continuing on in Isaiah 30 and 10. And to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things. Speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceit. That's what they want. Tell us that everything is going to be all right. Tell us that we got to go out and vote harder next year to make a change. Tell us that, we got to focus in on this, financial literacy program, and we got to make sure that we get our, get our accounts properly balanced and all of that stuff. They want us to focus on everything except for changing our lives and becoming who God called us to be. You understand? All of those things are important. Financial literacy and balancing your checkbooks and all of that is important. But if you don't know the Lord, it means nothing. If you ain't obeying the Lord, it doesn't amount to nothing. Everybody understand? Verse 11, get you out of the way. Meaning what? We in the way. In the way of what? In the way of all their evil fun. When you speak the truth, you in the way of all the homosexuality. You speak the truth, you standing in the way of all that lesbianism. They don't want to think about any of that when they getting down doing their freaky nasty thing. Gorilla Hebrew wants you to not be in the way of him and that pagan kid. You understand? He wants you to get out the way. I watched the video of this nigga, man. this cat said that it was not he wasn't to blame for the evil he did and how he let people down. He said that they were to blame because they trusted him. They thought that he was perfect and infallible. Who told you that I was? Wow. He said, I never said I was great and above certain things. That's what y'all get for trusting in me, that I was above the damn peg kid. Imagine that. I'm sorry. I sat and watched this nigga do a video about Priest Ariel. Priest Ariel is when we get the 12 tribe chart. Priest Ariel later in his life stepped away from what he had been teaching originally. And when Ariel died, Commander General Yohana honored Ariel. You know what I'm saying? And the Guerrilla Hebrew made a video saying, death to Ariel, damn that nigga. None of what he ever did matter because he changed and taught something different. He let us down. He turned his back on us. How you the same man that condemned his other brother, talked bad about him after he died, discarded all the works that he did while he was right with the Lord. And then we find out you getting a dildo in your ass, and then you say the people's fault. Right. It's the people's fault for trusting in you. I mean, there is a punishment that is coming that men they don't comprehend it. Yeah. They don't understand it. And the Lord is allowing the Lord is allowing us to see it because he's giving us time to correct ourselves. He's giving us examples of what it looks like to go against him. And the Lord has given us examples of what happens when you don't obey him, when you don't fight to change your life, when you don't fight to get right. And as we watch it, we like, damn, that's messed up, man. That's jammed up. Well, the fall is so great and amazing, but it'll be me if I don't change. It'll be us next week if we fall, if we fail, if we play with the Lord. There are some people that's playing with God, and now is not the time to play with God because he is showing everybody, I'm not playing. These pastors, he's not playing with them. You understand? The Lord is true and real about everything that he said in this book. And the punishment that is going to befall those who stand in the way of the men of God doing their job, it's going to be bad for you. Just look at Guerrilla Hebrew. I mean, we live in a time on the earth where you could be free to do anything. You can be free to be whatever you want to be. If the man wanted to be gay or like to do whatever he did, he could just say, yeah, man, I'm into that. But you can't be a man of God and be into that. You can't be teaching the Bible. Don't open this book. I don't care what knowledge you think you got, what understanding you think you got, what breakdown you think you got. You should not play with this thing at all. You know you live in evil and you live in wicked and you still indulging in pegging kits or sniffing lines of cocaine or whatever you're doing, just close the book out. Don't even bother. But and then let's say you're doing something wrong and you got to confess. You're doing something wrong and you got to acknowledge and admit that I was wrong. Man, confess your faults and be a man about it. Get chastised, get corrected, get some help, and the Lord will raise you up. But don't be defiant in your wickedness. Don't do evil and wicked, then be like, hey, what y'all niggas thought? Y'all shouldn't have been following me. Nigga, what? Nigga, what? That's what? Like, again, Ezekiel 3, be a watchman. These niggas gonna do the opposite. They go do the opposite of being a watchman. Christ in the New Testament in Matthew the 5th chapter said, Matthew 5:17 said, think not that I come to destroy the law of the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. In verse 18, he said, not one jot or one tittle shall in any wise pass from the law till heaven and earth pass away and all be fulfilled. Then he said, whosoever breaks one of these least commandments and teaches men to do so shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. Imagine you know the Bible, teach the Bible, but got a woman putting a pegging kit in your behind and the earth finds out about it and you say to the people, who told y'all niggas I was perfect? Who told y'all to be following me and thinking, what? Bruh, my evil.
keep teaching.
And want to keep teaching.
Like that's
This is what he wants to do. He wants to make it all right.
That's what I'm saying.
He don't understand the message that sends to people is you can do whatever you want and still obey God. Right. You can do whatever you want and still be a man of God. You cannot. You can't. You can't be a man of God and got a pegging kit getting rammed in you. And I know we live on TikTok, so I can't really say what I want to say. But let's not speak flowery about it. A pegging kit is a strap-on. It is what a lesbian woman uses to simulate sex with a man for another lesbian woman. He let the lesbian woman strap that on her body and bend him over. We talk about the pegging kit. Pegging sounds cute. It sounds nice. It makes you think of something different. It's sex in your behind. A woman having sex with a man in his behind. It ain't pegging. It's anal sex. You let a woman anally sex you, and then you get on the computer with a Bible and say, yeah, 1 Corinthians, right. Nigga, what?
Right.
Diabolically evil, man. They got the nerve after it come out. You should have just shut the fuck up, excuse my language. You should have said, I'm sorry, and disappeared into, never to be heard from again land. The nigga didn't do that. He came back a month later, reinvigorated, rejuvenated, fresh off the bending over, and said, I ain't leaving, I ain't going nowhere. This is my camp. The nigga in the interview where Wack called Tazaryak and said, yeah, Gorilla Hebrew is here. And Tazaryak told the whole story. He's in the back. Yo. Tazaryak told how in the text messages, he said his woman said that he made her make online dating profiles so that she could reel in white men so that she could have sex with them and he could watch. And the nigga, so Wack was like, yeah, they call that cucking or something. He was like, yeah. Like he agreed to it. And Chief High Priest Ariel or Aliazar or whatever. This nigga is diabolical. Lift up the voice like a trumpet against any man that thinks you can live sinfully and still be a servant of God. You cannot mix the two. You can't be a man of God teaching this and then you got dildos in your behind. You should just step away, just get some help. Confess your sins up and let the Lord help you to cleanse you. We have to recognize that we are living this is a marathon. Life is a marathon. It ain't a sprint. There's going to be periods of your life where you're on top doing everything right and periods of your life where you fall and you're down. You got to get some help when you fall, man. You got to get some help when you're down. You can't be too proud to confess your sins. You ain't got to confess to the whole world. Call the priest. Call the man over you and say, Salakia, sir, I'm struggling. I'm jammed up. I'm dealing with this. Get some help. You can get help for any infirmity, any infallibility you have. But don't be so proud and convinced in your mind that you're special, that you can sin against God and still be in front of the people like, yeah, follow me, listen to me. And then when you fall, accept it, acknowledge it. Yeah, man, I jammed up, man, I was messed up. I shouldn't have did that. And let the people learn from your mistake.
Right. Yeah.
Don't double down on the shit and be like, yeah, I was cooking. Yeah, I bought the pegging kit, but I ain't get pegged. Nigga, we got the screenshots. The woman talked about, how did you like it? And you was like, it was rough at first. I'm not really comfortable bent over in that position, but you eased me into it. I liked how you stroked. You're talking about a woman having anal sex with you. You tried to talk like, nah, I ain't never been pegged. You're right, you didn't get pegged. You got anally sexed. That's what happened to you. A woman had anal sex in your rectum with a toy that you bought online. That she made jokes with you about how the toy was bigger than her. The nigga texted her and said, how you gonna hit me with something bigger than what I hit you with? I gotta get off of it, nah. I gotta stop, man. But nah, come on with it, nah. Say what you have to say.
If the nigga wouldn't have got caught,
he would still be doing it.
What about all the followers that really was Sakari got big? I remember when I first came to the truth, I was between them, I was, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm gonna tell you.
I would have been following
Look,
this nigga. You know what I mean?
All right, so look.
I would beat his ass.
So look, I'm gonna tell you for real. All right, so I'm gonna tell you the truth about Sakari, right?
For real though.
Here's the truth. Here's the truth about Sakari that people don't want to accept.
What the followers gonna do?
Listen, here's the truth about Sakari that nobody wants to accept, right? Sakari was just GMS rebranded.
Okay.
Sakari was GMS rebranded and with new leadership. That's all Sakari was. The nigga Gorilla Hebrew rebelled against the leadership of GMS because they were teaching that you could rape in the kingdom of heaven. They were teaching that you catch a 12-year-old girl and have sex with a raper. That's your woman. That's what Gorilla Hebrew was raised up learning. When they got embarrassed by Polite and lost in their debates and they got shamed by the men of the Lord and the Lord made GMS fall, Gorilla Hebrew jumped out and started Sakari. But everybody that made up Sakari were former GMS San Diego members. All of them, him and his whole council of men, they're all GMS rejects. And they kept the same GMS teachings, the same GMS breakdowns, and the same GMS spirit. GMS back in the day had a member, what's that cat's name? But Jerry Honda talked about it years ago when we were battling GMS. One of the head members of GMS, wife came to the school and confessed and told on him that he was wearing her panties and defecating in the panties. The pink panties and defecating in the panties, that was GMS. That's the cloth that Sakari is cut from. The Bible says that you can't bring a clean thing out of an unclean thing. Great millstone was unclean. Sakari is unclean. Everything that comes out of that is going to be what? Unclean. Guess what? IUIC comes out of GMS. All of it comes out of what they called the House of David after the school split. It was ISUPK, it was House of David. House of David is what bred GMS. House of David is what bred IUIC. House of David is what bred GOCC. All of those fake Israelite groups came out of the House of David, and all of them have just a deviant demon, deviant sexual demon, to want to rape in the kingdom, to want to grape in the kingdom of heaven, to want to do all, to take heathen women as ribs and concubines. All of those lies and breakdowns come from them, and all those brothers got a sexually deviant spirit on them. You understand? So like Kapataza.
Oh no, so like you said, so they can't say that like all of these different GMS and all of them, they can't say, oh well if that's the case, we all started from One West UPK. They can't say that, right? Because that we still here.
We still here. No, we are still here. And they know that they can. Okay. The leaders, so Nate of IUIC, he can say he started out at 1 West 125th Street. But he also has to say he left. The founders of GMS could say they started out at 1 West 125th Street because they were there back then. But then they left. Sakari cannot say it because they didn't come out of 1 West 125th Street. They came out of GMS. But what's happening with them is not surprising to any of us in the truth because we've always known that all those brothers, their spirit is off. Their teachings are off. I could tell you going back 12 years, 13 years, we knew Gorilla Hebrew was on some foul, filthy, funny stuff. We didn't know specifically what it was, but we know he got a deviant spirit. He is absolutely GMS. Now that all this is happening, I never imagined in a million years it would come out like this. But this is the Lord continuing the downfall of GMS. This is the Lord continuing to crush that spirit. And guess what? It's going to keep happening. And it's going to happen to the IUIC and all these other fake groups because Commander General Yohana prophesied it. You understand? Right now, we in Isaiah chapter 30, verse 11. Get you out of the way. Turn aside out of the path. Cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us. That's what they want. They don't want us to teach the truth. They don't want us to put the reality of the Most High in their face. They want to live in their fairy tale land where they can get pegged and still be men of God. They can snort lines of cocaine and still go out on the street and preach. Them cats, who was the other group that used to be out there in New York when we was out there? Man, GMS, the ISUPK is another group. Go ahead.
I remember seeing them back.
Nah, it's another cat. It was the other cat. Bald head, light skinned cat, man. I can't think of his name. Another one of them Israelite groups out there. They was snorting cocaine. Them niggas was tooted up high all the time
Preaching the word.
and preaching on the streets. High teaching. The Lord is not playing. Huh? You cannot play with him and it turn out good for you. And because of that, we should just listen to what the men of the Lord are telling us, which is to get right with the Most High. Now is the time to be serious about serving the Lord so that we can be delivered from our sins, so that we could survive the coming time. Everybody understand? This is Isaiah chapter 30, verse 12. It says, wherefore, meaning because of this, thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word and trust in oppression and perverseness and stay thereon. Understand that. Anybody that doesn't want to hear the truth, it is because they trust in oppression and perverseness. To not want to see the fall of America, you trust in oppression. You trust in perverseness. A billionaire existing on the earth while people are poor and can't pay their rent and can't feed their kids and can't get medicine for their elderly grandparents is diabolically evil. If you are okay living in this capitalist society, then you despise the word of the Lord and you trust in oppression and perverseness. So much about this world is perverse. It's disgusting and filthy, and it all has to do with the politics and the religion and the worship of money. Everybody understand? Verse 13, therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. And he shall break it as the breaking of the potter's vessel that is broken in pieces. He shall not spare, so that there shall not be found in the bursting of it a sherd to take fire from the hearth, or to take water withal out of the pit. Does everybody understand what the Lord is saying? If you don't change your life and get right with the Most High now, there is a punishment coming for sinners. There is a evil coming for those who will not serve the Lord, and it is like a dam that is swelling up with water, and then at one time the dam breaks and all of the water pours out all over the land. That's the evil that is about to come to all the sinners. Now more than ever, our people need to be warned that the Lord is trying to show us that danger is coming. Death and destruction are around the corner, and the only thing that is going to sustain us is obeying the Lord. The signs don't get any clearer. The warning doesn't get any bigger than what is happening in America right now. And if you wait for there to be war in the streets and the grocery stores are shut down and you can't shop for groceries, it'll be too late. Now is the time to take heed to the warning of the Lord. Now is the time to change your life, because when this breach breaks, it won't be no time to react. Everybody understands? Verse 15. For thus saith the Lord God, the Holy One of Israel, in returning and rest shall ye be saved. In what? In returning and rest. What does that mean? Returning to the Lord. In resting in the Lord, you'll be saved. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. But you would not, and you would not. Meaning what? You could have returned to the Lord and been safe. You could have been quiet and just did what he said to do, but you rejected that. You said, nah, we want to live what we want to do. We want to live how we want to live. We want to be free. We want to pursue the American dream. Guess what? You go ahead and live that way if you want to, and you're going to suffer. Live that way if you want to, and you're going to face the consequences. And why would you go through any of that when the Lord is trying to warn us not to? Everybody understands? Let's drop that. Let's drop that. Understand? And let's get Um, let's get Proverbs chapter 1. The Lord is trying through the priests and prophets of the Israelite school of universal practical knowledge to warn his people. To warn his people that we are in the time that he prophesied about, where death and destruction was going to be present, and those who would not listen would have to suffer the consequences. You understand? During the days of the Exodus, the Egyptians and the hardening of Pharaoh's heart was very present and clear for the people to see. The people that were the children of Israel that was suffering in Egypt wasn't confused about what was going on. They didn't have to wonder why they were suffering or wonder why work was so hard or wonder why they were getting paid so little. They understood it was because Pharaoh's heart was hardened against them. Pharaoh is treating us badly, disrespectfully. Now, there were other nations in Egypt at the time. Were those other nations being punished? Were those other people suffering the way that the children of Israel were? No, the Bible doesn't tell us that. The Bible tells us that the children of Israel were suffering in Egypt, and the cry of them went up to the Lord. It's the same thing in America right now. Times are hard for a lot of people. But the people right now, a lot of people are poor. White people poor. There's East Indian people, everybody, a lot of people poor, right? But not everybody's being rounded up by ICE and sent to Alligator Alcatraz. Not everybody's been being unalived by the police in the streets for the last 70 years in this country. Not everybody was being hung from trees and bodies disappearing in the states right now. There's black bodies disappearing in the South and nobody's talking about it. So don't tell me that everybody's suffering, everybody's going through it. No, you're not. Not like we are. Not like the children of God are. You understand? The children of God are suffering an oppression that nobody else understands. It was just like that in the days of Egypt. And Moses came to the people, and Moses warned the people, and guess what? They obeyed Moses. Moses said, Pharaoh's heart is going to be hardened to the point of killing y'all. Tonight is the night that we must do this for the Lord, to be spared. They listened to Moses, and they killed them lambs, and they put that blood on that door, and when that death angel came through, they were spared. You understand? Right now, the Lord is the same way that Pharaoh's heart was hardened against the children of Israel in the days of Pharaoh. The white man's heart is being hardened against the children of Israel today. And Alligator Alcatraz and ICE and the federalizing of the police and tariffs and the destruction of the economy, all of that are signs of Pharaoh's heart being hardened. What also was happening during the time when Pharaoh's heart was hardened? The Lord was plaguing Egypt. You don't see how America's being plagued right now? You don't see fires in the Grand Canyon and heat waves all across the country and fires in places where they ain't supposed to be. You don't see earthquakes in the Pacific Ocean, floods and tsunamis and again on all of the Pacific coast. The Lord is shaking the earth literally. Where's the people warning? Where's the pastors warning you of all the things God is doing in the earth right now? The American economy was failing before tariffs. Jobs was getting bad before tariffs. People was getting laid off. God is plaguing this place. They just had to, last summer, they had to kill like 2 million chickens or something because of some bird flu. They had to shut down bird factories and kill all the eggs because when the prices of eggs was going up. That's because God was killing all the egg industry. You know how many egg farms had to go out of business because of swine flu? God was doing that. Why? To give you a sign that now is the time to change your life. The book of Revelation talks about pestilences and the balance of wheat and barley and things being unbalanced and money being worthless, not being able to afford stuff. That's God. God is bringing the value of the dollar down. God is making it so that Pharaoh's heart being hardened is causing him to tariffs. In the hardening of Pharaoh's heart, food is going to be scarce. Resources are going to make it hard for you to acquire them. Guess who you're going to have to depend on in that time? The Lord. There's famines and pestilences coming. The Lord is warning us with the fires in the Grand Canyon and with the earthquakes in the Pacific and with the hurricane season about to come up. They didn't cut all of the FEMA funds. Hold up. Forget all that. Don't you know a hurricane hit a mountain in North Carolina last year? Earlier this year, the flooding in what's that? No, that Texas flooding was one too. It was a flood that happened in a mountain in North Carolina, Asheville, Virginia, and Asheville, North Carolina. That they said a hurricane hit a mountain. Hurricanes don't hit mountains. There was flooding in a mountain in North Carolina. They tried this. The conspiracy theory was that it was weather modification. They blew up the dams like they blew up the levees in Katrina, because that mountain in Asheville sits on the heaviest. It's some earth mineral. The heaviest deposit of those minerals in the earth is in the mountains between Virginia and Tennessee, or Virginia and Carolina. And the conspiracy theory is that they flooded that place to get the people to leave the mountain so that all of the mining companies could take it over. The government could say it's eminent domain, nobody can live here, it's too dangerous. Now they can bring the mining companies in and mine all the mountains so they can get all of the conductors that they need for these electric cars and these electric batteries. They need that element. But that element is found here, and I believe in one of them Scandinavian countries, like Norway or something like that, Sweden. And America don't want to have to depend on them for it, so they want to go down in the mountains. Well, the Lord made a flood in the mountain. Hurricanes don't pass mountains. They hit the mountain and dissipate. Right. Not enough rain. Right. And folks in Asheville, North Carolina last year, that's the Lord. The Lord did that. Let's say it did blow the levees. Guess what? The Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart to blow the levees. All the evil that is befalling the earth right now, man, the pastor's talking about it. Where are the preachers that's blowing the trumpet, that's warning the people of God, warning the earth that the Lord is moving on this place, and now is the time to get right with him, or you're going to face destruction. Right. The Lord talks about it here in Proverbs, the 1st chapter. All right? You had a question, Kapata?
No, I was just looking at what you said.
Come. It's Proverbs chapter 1. Start at verse 23. It says, turn you at my reproof. Meaning what? Turn you at my correction. What is the Lord's correction? This truth that we teaching. This word that we bringing out, that now is the time that we have to change our lives. Now is the time that we have to put our sins behind us. Now is the time that we have to learn the truth and change our lives and become who the Lord called us to be. You understand? Turn you with my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. Because I have called and ye refused, I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded. This teaching, these classes, is the Lord reaching his hand out. The Lord is saying, change your life, son. Get it together. Now is the time to correct yourself, to fix yourself, to become who I called you to be. And what did we do in response? Verse 25, but ye have set at naught all my counsel and would none of my reproof. You smacked the Lord's hand away. You told the Lord that you didn't want his deliverance. You didn't want to dwell in the safety of obeying him. You understand? Proverbs 1 and 26. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. The Lord is going to laugh at your calamity and mock when your fear comes, because you would not reprove. You would not turn to his reproof. Right now, the Lord is correcting us, man. This is chastisement. I know these classes aren't easy to listen to. I know it's not easy to hear that the religion you were born and raised in your whole life did not properly prepare you for these times we're living in. The church did not prepare us for the times that we are living in. The church did not prepare us to resist the evil and to fight the temptation of what the society is doing. But guess what? The Lord gave us the truth now. The Lord has sent men of God out on the streets. He sent men of God on the internet, and all of our people are getting the opportunity to hear the truth. You don't want to take heed to that. The Lord is going to laugh at your calamity. He is going to mock when your fear comes. Everybody understands? Verse 27, when your fear comes as desolation and your destruction comes as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish comes upon you, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me, for they that hated knowledge and did not choose the fear of the Lord. They would none of my counsel, they despised all of my reproof. Therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way and be filled with their own devices. Everybody understand? Come on with it, Oz.
Well, basically saying you did it to yourself.
You did it to yourself. That does not excuse the oppressor. But the Lord is allowing you to see what the oppressor's doing. No one is going to be caught off guard or surprised when what they are intending to do starts to take place. The groundwork is being laid. We're watching it happen step by step. You can go in history and go research Germany in 1937, Germany in 1936, the takeover of the government, the eroding of the civil rights, the federalizing of the police, the crashing of the economy. All of these things happened in Germany prior to World War II. It's happening in America. They're following the blueprint. They ain't taking a page out of Hitler's book. They're copying the book. They're doing exactly what Hitler did, exactly what Mussolini did. For you to not know what's coming next, you got to be out of your mind. We know what's coming next. It's next. It ain't next. It's happening. Alligator Alcatraz exists. That's Auschwitz in 2025. And guess who's there? It ain't white Jews. It's Hispanics. And it's going to be black people. It's going to be Jamaicans and Trinidadians and Cubans and Haitians and Dominicans. It's going to be the children of God. And right now, the Lord is allowing us time to change and correct ourselves and to get right. And if you don't take heed to that, then you did it to yourself. Now is the time for the voices of the men of God to be lifted up like a trumpet. Isaiah 58 and 1 says, lift up that voice like a trumpet, spare not, show my people their transgressions, and the house of Jacob their sins. That is what the Lord wants for us to hear. He wants you to recognize that now is the time to change your life. Now is the time to come and serve him. The time is short. We don't have a lot of time. Now is the time for us to get ourselves together, man, and become who the Lord called us to be. And you can do it. Come into the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Command of General Yohana. Learn the truth. Change your life. Become who the Lord calls you to be. For all my people on TikTok, I appreciate y'all for tapping in. You understand we had these classes Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights from 7 to 9 p.m. All you brothers and sisters online, I appreciate y'all tapping in. We're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge out of 1 West 125th Street in Harlem, New York, under Command of General Yohana since 1969. We have been teaching so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians the truth according to the Bible. What is the truth? The truth is that so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians descend from the greatest people that have ever walked the face of the earth. The Bible identifies us as the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And in the year 2025, there's nothing more important than for God's chosen people to learn the truth of who we are, where we come from, and what our purpose is on the earth. With that, you brothers and sisters got family, loved ones, people you care about in the Memphis, Tennessee, and surrounding areas. Get them in contact with the ISUPK. And with that, I'll see y'all for class tomorrow. Shalom.